shedding 6 times. What is going on, party people? As you know, this is another Sunday edition of Slasher Sunday. We're going a little bit late, a lot later than what we usually do. Usually we do this bad boy between the hours of 10 and 11. But as you guys know, we was doing the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view for 4.5 hours, having a blast and watching Cody Rhodes put his life on the line to entertain us and put on a classic wrestling match. So,
Yep.
but we're here now. As you know, welcome to our Shot 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. I'm your host, Marcus. And as you know, every Sunday, and actually shit, more and more so, almost damn near on every live stream, we might as well say now, I have my buddy Bob here, hunting for entertainment. How is everybody doing tonight? We got a couple. We're not going to go too long. I'd say we're probably going to go till 2 to 2:30. You know what I mean? Because we were streaming for 4.5 hours, guys, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired, and I'm sure Bob is a little tired.
Yeah,
So
definitely getting there.
So we're gonna cut it a little short tonight and stuff like that, but we are gonna still give you guys at least an hour of content. Talk some Saw, talk some Halloween Ends. This is Bob's topics. I reached out to him earlier in the week, and I said, usually I'm the one, picking the topics or whatever. I want you to pick the topics this weekend. Bob has decided to talk about Saw and Halloween Ends. So, Bob, which one do you want to start off with first?
Well, to make it interesting, let's start off with some Saw talk.
I like it. What do you want to talk about first? Because I feel like we can unpack a lot of shit. We've already talked a good bit behind the scenes about certain things, certain theories and stuff we have, but there's definitely some directions they could take. If I fear they're going to go backwards, but I really hope that they don't do that and stick with this spiral thing that you have going and finish that out before you do anything else. Where do you feel like? I guess I'll ask you, what direction do you feel this franchise is headed?
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you. I feel they're going to end up kind of moving backwards instead of forwards, which is not really what they need to do right now. There was a lot of, if the pandemic didn't happen, I think Spiral would have had more in the sense of the box office than what it had. And I think it was a really successful movie, personally. I mean, yeah, you can argue the new voice of the villain was a little not as terrifying as Tobin Bell's inner voice.
Yeah.
But I think they might be setting up to where it was a female, and I think if they were to continue, I think we would find out that the one cop, I say cop, he really, I mean, you can argue he was a cop, but kind of was more just trying to infiltrate so he could screw over the police force.
Yeah.
How he escaped, I think we would have found out that he was working with someone and maybe one of the cops didn't die.
See, it's funny because I just did a video the other day talking about Shank, and it's obvious he had to have an accomplice in that movie. There's no way he did any of that all by himself. No. And I said that, okay, we could easily think it's somebody from the past because once again in Saw Final Chapter, they left a lot of hanging fruit. Did Mark Hoffman die? We don't know that. We just saw the door close and that's it.
And who were the other two in the pig masks that were helping Dr. Gordon?
Exactly. Now, this is an interesting thing, too, much like, Matthew Little with Stu or whatever. Yeah. I've watched an interview with Costas Mandylor, and they asked him, did Detective Gordon die? And he said, what do you think? He said, you just saw the door shut. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and you meant to say Hoffman.
Yeah, Hoffman. Yeah, gosh, jeez. Yeah, long day.
Yeah, it's been a very long day. I couldn't remember Shank, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, but he even said that, the door shut. That's all you've seen. So even he implied that Detective Hoffman could be alive. And I say that because I think it is important to note that, okay, one, the spiral from the Book of Saw, and I even tried to look this up to see, okay, is the Book of Saw like Jigsaw's Book of Traps? No, that's honestly just the title from the movie because this is a story from the book, a style of Saw or
Yeah.
whatever and stuff. So I said, okay, whoever is helping Shank has to not only, I said, it not only can be, you can make the argument, it could be somebody from the past, but you can also make it obvious. I mean, possible it could be somebody from the present or both. Now, the reason why I say from the past is somebody has to know how to build them traps.
Yep.
And the only two people that we knew really, well, three people that we really knew how to build the traps was Jigsaw, Amanda, and Hoffman. Even if Adam
Yep.
is alive, like I'm pretty sure we believe, he was the photographer. He didn't, at least we didn't get no dialogue or no scenes showing that he know. We don't even know if he, like we didn't get no scenes showing that he's alive. And
Yeah.
if it
Plus one.
did, there was no, he wasn't working on no machines. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because I don't think Adam would have been. Because when you look at, especially like the whole thing with the final chapter, when you see the whole flashbacks with Gordon, you're seeing the pictures that were taken. They were the same style that Adam had taken
yes,
of Gordon and everyone else that we see in that first film. So it
yes,
definitely would have to be that Adam survived
yes.
and I think he might have been one of the ones under the pig mask in that final chapter.
I agree because see, another reason why I agree, and I did a video about this. Now, if you go back and you watch that scene where Amanda goes to, put the wrap on Adam's face and suffocate him or whatever, you slow that video down. The fucking chain is not on his left foot. It's not.
No, it's
Now,
not.
why that is important is because they even stated that Amanda was dealing with post-traumatic stress because of the game and that she was having dreams and hallucinations and
Yep.
this and this nightmares and stuff of killing Adam or whatever. And I genuinely believe that that was a dream scene. I don't believe that that scene was real. You know what I mean? And another thing I want to point out is, okay, so let's just say let's say she did suffocate and kill Adam, right? Well, we see she drops his body on the ground, on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, why ever, especially in the final chapter when Hoffman's getting locked up, why is the body repositioned as if he's chained up against a wall again or against a pipe again? Why reposition the body like that? There will be no reason to.
No.
You know what I mean? There would be no reason to at all. And I think another thing how you can get away with that is John Kramer was a master of puppets. You know what I
Yep.
mean? That could have easily been a mannequin that he put there.
Yeah.
Easily. And obviously made it, did whatever with it, made it look real as he possibly could. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. And we know that John Kramer / Jigsaw was about forgiveness. And
yes,
Adam really never had a fair chance at his game.
that's the truth. That is the truth. Now, another thing why I think you can also say in Spiral, it's somebody from the present. Who is the only cop outside of Chris Rock who did not get attacked? O'Brien.
Yep.
The Hoffman lookalike. I always said he reminded me so much of Hoffman before Hoffman grew out his hair and shit. When he
Yep.
was all slick backed and smooth and shit like that. When we first saw him and saw, what was it, 4?
Yeah.
And saw 4. That character, when I seen him come on screen, I'm like, he fucking reminds me so much of Costas Mandalore. It's crazy. And then when I went back and watched that movie over and over again, I'm like, one of these cops has something to do with it. You know what I mean? Because obviously Shank had to get inside information somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make sense from O'Brien because he had beef with Ezekiel.
Yep.
He knew all the department secrets, much like Hoffman, who's to say he didn't want to be the top dog.
Exactly.
So I did that video, I was just sitting like, yo, man, I feel confident in that. And I really would hope that they don't, because the reason why we're talking about this, guys, is because there's been a lot of rumblings that they're going to do Saw X and it's going to be a prequel it's going to be a prequel between Saw 1 and Saw 2. And they're trying to bring Tobin Bell and Jigsaw character back, and it's just like, and the whole premise is from the point of view of John Kramer. We have 7 films full of that
Yeah.
with tons of flashback scenes from his point of view. We know why he does what he does. We don't need no more further explanation.
Yeah, and in Jigsaw, we got the very first set of traps.
Ooh, I'm glad you actually brought that up, because especially for modern purposes, if there was anybody else outside of the original pieces who knew how to build the traps, Logan.
Not just Logan, even the female Morgue, because
I forgot about her.
Because she knew how to build that one trap that involved that motorbike.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that she helped Logan more than what we were led to believe in Jigsaw?
Yes.
I always felt that too. I always felt that too.
Just because she somehow knew how to get that trap built, there's got to be something more to her than what was let on.
Now think about this as well. See, I love when we start getting into this shit, because then this shit just starts flowing. You know what I mean, and shit. So think about this. If let's just go with the sake of argument, Adam isn't alive. Well, what if the two people who are underneath the pig face mask was Logan and the girl?
Very possible.
You know what I mean? Like, this franchise, it's such a good franchise, especially for me, the first 7. I mean, I know a lot of people say they stopped watching it after 3 because the story started to drag and stuff. But me personally, I like that type of in-depth storytelling and stuff like that. So, like, but I do feel that with Saw, the final chapter, they left a lot of questions to be answered. You know what I mean? Like, who was the other two under the pig face mask, as well as did Hoffman really die? We don't know that.
And is Adam alive?
And is Adam alive? Like, they left so many. They left, and I'm starting to think, in all honesty, they did this on purpose to make future films. You know what I mean? Because the way when you go back and you really watch these movies and how shit was set up, like, I remember reading an article where somebody said the one Saw scene that just doesn't add up, and it was that Adam and Amanda, when Amanda went to go kill Adam. You know what I mean? They said it just doesn't add up. Like, they was like, that just doesn't add up, in a sense. Like, John Kramer would have went back if he helped Gordon survive. He would have gave Adam a chance. He would, like you said, he was about forgiveness. So for her to go in there, a mere few days later, it had to be a good week, I'd say, just because by the time she got to him in that scene, he could barely speak because he was so dehydrated, or whatever and stuff. Like, I just feel like that was a dream sequence, and Kramer already got him out of there before that happened.
Yeah,
I think he went and got Gordon first. Same way. I feel like he went and got Gordon first. Went and maybe stored Gordon wherever he stored him real quick, and then start thinking, had a change of heart. Because like you said, and I even said it in the video, those photography pictures were the same as Adam's. He was the only photographer throughout the entire franchise.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like a lot of people missed that. Like, well, not even, because there was a couple YouTubers, and I mentioned in my video, who I saw that kind of did like videos about it, but I just didn't feel like they did really in depth. Like, you could, if you really wanted to really make a good argument against their videos, you really could have. And like I said, nothing against those guys. If you happen to watch the stream, again, nothing against you. But that's why I decided to do my due diligence and really try to piece together, you know what I mean, like scene for scene, especially when it came to Adam's situation. Now, I will say this. I didn't notice that I kind of made a mistake in the one overlay picture in the ending scene of final chapter with Hoffman. You see Adam's body, well, the skeleton of his body, and I said it was still chained up. It wasn't still chained up because obviously Hoffman was chained up. But the way the picture was, and it looked like something was connected to that carcass. That's why I said that. So then after further review, I was like, okay, I made that mistake. But then that's what also led me to realize, well, hold the fuck up a minute. why is the body even positioned back in the corner like that when she dumped his body on the floor when you seen him suffocate?
Yeah,
So like even when making a mistake, you can find other clues as well. Like this franchise is just so unique in its own right. You know what I mean? And but I really hope don't go back. They did it. There's some people out there that didn't like Spiral. I liked it a lot. I thought it was a really good spin-off to Saw. Yes, it was a Saw movie, but it still had its own identity. It had its own story to where you can connect old and new elements to it. And I think a
yep,
lot of people who don't like it are missing that. I think they're missing that a good bit. But
definitely.
let's hit these comments because we're behind a good bit.
Yeah, well, when we get going talking, we just get
I know
going.
we go. We spit them bars. Val, yeah, I know Val's here. What's up, Val?
Hey, Val, my pal.
Amber was here. I don't know if she still. I think she said she was going to bed.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
she was.
got 6 people in the chat. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us at this late hour. Ghostface Fanatic, what's going on, buddy? Oh, Jordan
Hey,
Talks
bud.
Films. What's going on, man?
Welcome, Jordan.
Oh, we just talking about some Saw, a little bit of Saw on Halloween Ends. I mean, if you didn't catch that, obviously about the Saw franchise and stuff like that. But we're going to get into Halloween Ends here in a little bit. We ain't going to be on too long. I said we're probably going to. I'd say about 2:15. Another hour we'll go for, and then call it
Yeah,
a wrap. We went 4.5 hours, on that damn
Hell in a
on that Hell
Cell.
in a Cell. Ain't gonna lie, got me a little gassed out.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie, that was a heck of a
Oh
pay per
man,
view.
it was great. I enjoyed it so much. I did. Wayne, what's going on, Wayne? How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping in.
Hey, Wayne.
Oh shit. Wayne says I shot him 6 times. It is Monday 3:02 here in hello Sydney, Australia. I can't even get my words out. And shit. Well, that's what's up, Wayne. Shit, you're a whole day and a half ahead of us. Oh shit.
Yeah,
It
tell
is
me how the future's going. Tell me, do you see anything
because
happening?
it is Monday here basically now. You know what I
Well,
mean? So in all honesty, you're about a good 14 hours ahead of us, Wayne.
yeah, got anything to toss about 14 hours from now that we should be looking for?
Yeah, right? Exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Jordan. He's the one who he stabbed I forget Detective Velez, I think that was her name.
Yeah.
Detective Velez, yeah, underneath her neck and in her stomach and stuff like that. No, he did it to the dude, the lead FBI director. He slit him underneath the neck, and then he stabbed what's her name, Velez multiple times.
Yeah, because she was getting coffee or something at that moment.
No,
And
he spilled the coffee on the
Oh,
Chinese.
no, that's right.
The
He
Chinese
spilled the
girl who
coffee.
and scrambled his voice.
Hey,
Yeah,
bear with me. I'm half awake here.
that scene was really really tight for me because that you felt the buildup and the anticipation in that scene. You know what I mean? When
Yes.
you knew it was coming, that they were going to descramble that and it was going to be his voice. And it was so interesting because you just see him slowly but surely putting shit in his pocket, putting the knife in his pocket, or what was it, letter opener?
Yeah, letter opener.
Yeah.
And he's just slowly mixing up his coffee.
Yes, and he's just slowly teetering around, just like, like I know what you fuckers are about to do. I mean, I love that character on Mark Hoffman. I thought that Costas Mangelor did such a great job with that character.
Yeah, and he has stated that he wants to come back.
I said it a couple minutes ago. He said it basically in so many words. Hoffman's not dead, and I don't believe he's dead. And who's to say, right? Okay, so who's to say, right? Gordon shuts the door, right? But what if Gordon himself has an epiphany? Because I'm sorry, when you look at those flashback scenes with Gordon showing his entire involvement, he is enjoying it.
Yeah.
he is enjoying it. So who's to say if Gordon, feeling all high and mighty, that he's the last one left standing, basically.
Yeah.
And he goes back and says, you know what? I can use you. Let's do this.
Yeah, because Hoffman helped build a lot of those traps.
A lot of them. Like a good bit. It was him and Amanda.
Yeah.
It was him and Amanda. And I just feel like, especially with Spiral, and that's the biggest thing I took away from the ending of Spiral. And basically, I'm not gonna lie, I figured out it was Shank when they did his whole murder scene.
Yeah, that's when I figured it out.
I said it's Shank or whatever. But then when I really start thinking about it, I'm like, man, but they really did a good job at doing. Because if you think about it, the original timeline when Shank's dad is killed, that was in the original timeline of the original Saw movies. So
yeah,
he said 15 years ago. So in 2020. So we have to go with 2020 because that's when the movie was shot and filmed or whatever. So that would mean 2005. So which that would be what?
1 year
Saw
after.
3.
No, wait, Saw 2, wouldn't it? Because
Saw 1 came out in 2003. Saw 2 came out in 2004. And then, because remember, they were coming out every year. They start dropping like flies every year.
Yeah, hang on. I'm just going to double check this just to make sure we're right. Because I thought the first one was 04 and the final chapter.
You could be right on that. But I'm pretty sure it was 03.
Was 10.
I'm pretty sure it was 03.
Someone release.
Val, they actually kind of announced it a little bit right after Spiral was released last year. They had discussed that they wanted to do a Saw 10, and this whole John Kramer going backwards BS. You know what I mean? I just hope they don't do it. Just no. Give us another Spiral.
Yeah. October 29th, 2004 was the first Saw.
Okay, the first. Okay. So the second Saw would be in the timeline of when Ezekiel's dad, Samuel Jackson's character, was the sheriff, was the chief of police. You know what I mean? So that's why I say you can definitely mix the old in with the new. And that's why I think this movie did a really good job at, which a lot of people miss. You know what I mean? Because I start thinking that too. I'm like, well, hold on. If this character, Marcus Banks, if he was the police chief back in 2005, this is a character we've never seen in the original Saw universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I will say this, you know what I mean? Because I did see some things out there that they said that the original Saw police station was like basically the south end, and this one is like the north end. I don't know how true it is, but I don't think that is because they both went by Metropolitan Police.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the same name. It didn't say South or North. I would like to think, because I mean, I live out here. When I live out here in New York, they used to have Southwestern Regional. I don't think they do anymore, but you get the gist. Southwestern.
Mm-hmm.
They would put that on there. It always remained Metropolitan, and I think that's such an interesting dynamic when you think about the Marcus Banks character. That was he the police? He had to have been the police chief when the original he was, because he even said it to Chris Rock, to Ezekiel, Jigsaw copycat. That can be difficult. So that tells me he has some experience.
Yep.
That we just didn't see in the original franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting, man. Like,
and imagine imagine if we got a flashback of him talking with Hoffman.
That would make sense, especially about Seth. Not Seth Baxter. Remember, in final chapter. Oh, who is the cop that he didn't like? The one he got revenge in at the end. I forget his name.
I can't think of his name, but I know which one.
I'm looking it up right now. I got this. Saw 7 cast. Gibson.
Yes.
Gibson. Yes. With Detective Gibson. Because remember, he turned Hoffman into internal affairs and the department. So who's to say that, of course, before going to internal affairs, Hoffman didn't have to meet with Chief Market Spanks before that?
Yeah.
Like, that would be a pretty cool flashback scene. I think that, like, they can go so many directions, but I just feel like they're making the choice to go in the wrong direction. We don't
Same.
need John Kramer back. We got his story. It's done and over with. Love Tobin Bell. He created a very legendary character with that character, Jigsaw John Kramer. But you did a good job of separating yourself from John Kramer with this new killer. You know what I mean? Because this new killer, he's not about forgiveness. He's about revenge. He's about vengeance.
Which was something new.
Yes. Capitalize on this.
Well, sort of. You can argue Hoffman killing the one guy that was beating his sister and killed her.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they did implement revenge a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I felt like they are underselling themselves with how well this movie, how good this movie was. You know what I mean? This movie was a good movie, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I liked it.
And I really want to see more of Chris Rock
in
that
me
role.
Too. And I know some people didn't like that, Max Magnolia was revealed as the killer. Me personally, I thought he did a good job. You know what I mean? Like, especially with the manipulation at the end.
Yep.
Fucking with him. Like the way he was good. I didn't have a problem with him at all.
Yeah, and then pretty much forcing him to watch his father die right in front of him, like a puppet.
And to me,
he rose up like a puppet and was just standing there dripping blood.
And I thought that was such a cool thing when you see that flashback when he says whoever it is, they're pulling all the strings. And you just see the little puppet, rise up the same way that Samuel L. does. And then in that moment, I'm like, he's going to make him watch his dad die just like he did. And for me, in all honesty, there might be some people that might shoot my head off for this. You know what I mean? For me, that was the second best shocking moment, like in terms of storyline wise, in the Saw franchise throughout. Like when you really catch the gist of what is about to transpire, it's like, holy shit. Like, no, one way or another, Samuel L. wasn't getting out of that trap.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's why he said, you shoot the target, we both win. You don't, your dad lose. Either way, he lost.
Yeah, there was no chance in hell.
And I thought that was pretty innovative, you know what I mean? Especially because it kept you on edge until the actual end, just like the original Saw.
Exactly. And with this one ending on a cliffhanger, if you're not going to continue it, you're missing out on a huge chance. Because when we saw Shank going down in that elevator, he was just like,
love it. I love that part, man. You see the door closing and just Chris Rock just no. Like, oh man, just that ending that ending sequence was just that was so good to me. And I just hope the creators have a change of heart. You know what I mean? I hope they have a change of heart. They go back and rewatch Spiral, look at what they did right, the little bit of flaws that they had, capitalize on them, and continue this with this story. Bring Chris Rock back, bring Max back, and add on. And because you're leaving a lot of hanging fruit too. Because, like I said, who the fuck helped this guy?
Yeah. And who was doing that voice? Because I'm not buying that was Shank.
I'm not buying that was Shank, and I think it was a female. And in all honesty, I think you can even make an argument that possibly two cops could be helping Shank, because that sounded more like a female voiceover to me with that voice. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, Finch's partner, she was a little weird. And my thing is this, she was the closest one to him when he got abducted. They may have split up, but she could have easily followed him.
Yeah, no question.
I always when I seen that, and I just some didn't sit right with me with her, and just like when Chris Rock said, okay, so well, granted, because they were basically going ghost or whatever, going rogue, but he's like, you didn't like call me,
Yeah,
like why didn't you call him? You know what I mean? And once you realized he was missing, why didn't you call him?
yeah.
O'Brien for me in
And what if
Spiral.
and what if during that, because you could even make an argument that the uh, female morgue assistant from Jigsaw was helping, because you could easily explain the whole like fake like molten lava, and she had prepared a fake body and shit for them,
Yep.
and she helped with the whole body when they were doing Shank's death.
Yeah. I will say this though. I'm not saying because I mean Shank, I mean, he's a guy, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying he wouldn't be able to hoist another man up or whatever. I will say this. I feel like it would be more I feel like it would be three of them. I feel like it would be the girl and Logan. Because you have to explain where the hell Logan is at then.
Yeah, Logan could be there too.
You know what I mean? And he hates the police department.
Yeah,
They left a lot of hanging fruit, and I just hope that they touch on this. I hope they don't go back. I love John Kramer, but bruh, you died in part 3.
yeah.
Like I
The
don't.
the only way I want to see John Kramer be back is if we know Tobin Bell's having his final, like, say, last couple months, and you want to shoot a cameo for something in that film.
Okay,
That's when we should get Tobin Bell back for that one last hoorah for the fans before we never get the original John Kramer back
I
again.
can go with that, but I just don't like the idea of let's go back in between Saw 1 and Saw 2 and do a prequel and do all this and do all that. It's like what are we going to do? What you're just going to show us how you set up the second game for Eric Matthews? Like,
Actually, let me ask you this. What if we go back in time and we see more about uh, Chris Rock's father? We see more of Samuel L. Jackson's character.
I would like it. I would like it. The only thing is, I mean, he could have survived a trap.
He could have, but I don't know. I mean, the SWAT team looked like they were getting ready to shoot him.
I don't know. That would be interesting, man. Like that would be interesting to go back and I guess see that interaction. I just want to. I worry about what like are you is this going to be like a whole new game that we don't know about like in between Saw 1 and Saw 2? Like maybe was there another game before Saw 2 happened? Like I just but at the same time then I'd feel like what was the point of Jigsaw? Because remember the whole point of Jigsaw was this was like supposed to be the first game
Yeah, that's what I mean.
before Hoffman and Adam. I mean not Hoffman, Gordon and Adam.
Well, no, what I'm saying about, like, what if it starts off as a flashback? We see some more of that character, and we find out that Chris Rock was having like a nightmare or a dream or a flashback or something, and that's where it sets up. And we see maybe he was looking at, say, something about Hoffman, Gordon, and he wants to find these people to see if they know anything about Shank.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay, I see where you're going with that. Now, I think that would make sense. I mean, I think that that would make sense, especially if you would have. I mean, because obviously his dad died and he's going to be traumatized, so he's probably going to be having nightmares. It would not be surprising if there was one of those nightmares where you see Marcus Banks and Jigsaw talking, or like him interrogating Jigsaw or Hoffman. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Hoffman in this dream to where Zeke's like wakes up and he's like, okay, let me look for Detective Mark Hoffman. You know what I mean? And that would also tie up maybe the loose end of finding the bathroom and seeing if Hoffman's body is there.
Yeah.
Like I like that idea. I think if they do it right, as we always say, that could really really work. I just hope they don't. I don't want them to go back like in terms of making a whole John Kramer movie. It's just we
Yeah.
don't need
No.
it. We don't need it. You know what I mean? Like I love Tobin Bell and all, but I really like what they did with Spiral, and I just hope they capitalize on it. And I feel like if they don't, I feel like if they don't make a follow up to Spiral, it will be like Scream the TV series. I will not like it. You left it on this fucking cliffhanger that is so juicy and so good, and you got me clamoring for more. You
Yep.
got me looking up on Google when Spiral the sequel coming out. You know what I mean? Like, is Chris Rock coming back for the sequel? Like, you got me trying to do fucking research, and
Yep.
the only research I find is Tobin Bell returning for Saw X, and I'm just like,
Not again.
why? You know what I mean? So this is definitely going to be very, very interesting. I'm definitely going to keep you posted on it. I'm sure you also keep posted on it yourself over the
Yeah. And
coming
I'll keep.
months. I expect to hear something probably by August, by fall time. I know that they're aiming for, if they do it, next year release, probably in October, like the tradition
Yeah. Now.
for Saw
Yeah.
movies.
Now that Halloween ends is going to be done with
Yeah.
October.
Yeah, so we'll see, man. Hopefully they have a change of heart. Hopefully they go back and look at Spiral and say, you know what? We're not going to do the whole John Kramer point of view. We see some of the fan reaction to it. It's not well received. Let's take a look at this, see what we can build on with this, and let's move forward with Chris Rock and Spiral and finish that up. You know what I mean? And then if you want to go back and fucking retcon, now I'll put it this way. If you're going to retcon, if you're going to go back and bring John Kramer back, then retcon the events of after 1 through 2 or whatever. And instead of having Amanda being maybe revealed, what if Adam's revealed?
Yeah, because I always felt like Shawnee Smith should have been around a lot longer than what they actually had.
I loved her as Amanda.
Like, maybe it's biasism, but I wanted more of Amanda.
No, I agree. And the weird thing is that there's a lot of people that feel like she's still alive.
You could make an argument. I don't know if I'd buy into it, but you could make an argument.
I mean, I put this way: it's not impossible when Gordon's at the hospital.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like, you could easily explain that.
He's a surgeon. She got shot in the neck, right?
I'm gonna have to double check, but I believe so.
Yeah, I think she got shot in the neck. Now it's obvious she wasn't moving. You know what I mean, when we last seen her. But it's not impossible to think that she was still alive. She could have had a light pulse. That happens all the time. You can be knocked unconscious, you know what I mean, or whatever, from a gunshot wound, a stabbed wound, from passing out, but still have a fucking pulse.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
which makes a lot of sense, because Hoffman might not have felt for a pulse. He just was seeing her laying still, not moving. He would have assumed she was dead.
Exactly. Yeah, he would already assume she was a goner.
Yeah, because of the note he wrote and all the carnage that would have been left behind.
Because I'll say this, you can tell that in the final scene of Saw, the final chapter, when Hoffman's leaving and he gets ambushed by Gordon and the pig faces, the one who initially stuck Hoffman, that was a female.
Yeah, which could be.
The reason why I say that is because that person was really short. And I'm not sitting there saying that there's no short men out there. But it's very, very rare that you see a guy who's about 5'3", 5'4".
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's about Shawnee Smith's height, right around there.
Yeah. And then when you go around and when the other pig face goes around, you can clearly tell that was a dude because he was a little bit taller and he just was easily able to grab a hold of Hoffman and manhandle him and keep him at bay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that could easily be Adam. I mean, people say, "Oh, well, Adam wasn't the biggest guy," but guess what? We haven't seen him in a little bit. Like Lee Wanell's not the biggest guy, but you could still make an argument. I'm pretty sure, and this is what a lot of people discredit too. Actors lose and gain weight for parts all the time.
Yeah, look at Dwayne The Rock Johnson from WWE. Look at how he was when he was wrestling compared to now.
On them fucking roids, man. Let me stop. You know what I mean? Listen.
Not trying to bring up wrestling in this, but it's a good example.
No, it's a perfect example in all honesty. Let's hit some in the chat. Conrad said, I feel like Adam is alive. I agree with that, man.
Yeah. What if Adam? I mean, I'm starting to think because we know Gordon was a doctor and was possibly at the hospital at said time. Hell, he could have even ended up showing up there to make sure Hoffman didn't screw anything up. Because remember, there was that hidden trap, so it's possible he was in there hiding and wait and like say there was another hidden thing the other side. He waited till Hoffman passed to revive Amanda, because maybe, and hear me out. Maybe John knew that Hoffman was going to betray Amber. Maybe there's some hidden note we don't know about.
There was just like there was a lot of hidden notes that we didn't know about that surfaced up later in the movie. You know what I mean? Just like how when basically Gordon, whoever, put that note of Amanda on the computer for Hoffman to see.
Yeah.
Just like when Hoffman went in his office and he seen that note, I know who you are. You know what I mean? So, like, man, they have a lot of options that they can take. You know what I mean? And hopefully they take the right option and don't go back forward and bring back Kramer. Man, I can't do it anymore. I love Tobin Bell. I just can't, man.
Oh, could you imagine in the new one? What if Amanda like ended up like turning face and was helping fucking Banks?
I don't know how believable that.
But let me finish. We think like we see her helping him, but we find out that Gordon, her, Shanks, and Adam are all working together. So Banks thinks he can trust someone from the past.
But then don't you think that would kind of be too obvious though? Because Amanda's back. Like, I kind of feel like that would be like that's just like Gordon. Like in the beginning of Saul chapter 7. When you see Gordon come on screen, you knew he was going to be involved in the end. You just had to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But then again, Saul.
I feel like that's the risk they would take that with Shawnee. You know what I mean? I'd rather them be revealed at the end with like just keep the pig face, kind of do a ghost face type thing. Keep the mask on until it's reveal time. You know what I mean? And oh man, that would be nuts though.
Thinking about it, Shawnee was thinner than what the one in Jigsaw was, the helper for the one in that, because she was a little bigger built. When you look at the voice, the pig face in that thing, it's a thinner person. That could easily be Adam or Amanda.
Yeah. But that's why I say I feel like the person grabbing Hoffman from behind is Adam, because
you saying that kind of made me think of that. What if Adam's standing and she's doing a recording?
Hold on real quick. We're going to get the height of Costas Mandalore and Lee Wanell. All right, Costas is 5'9". Ooh. Okay. This just got interesting. Okay, so give me 1 second. Oh, okay. This is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
So, Logan is 6'2". And when you look at that clip of the guy who of the pig face who was behind Hoffman, you can tell he's a little bit tall. Lee Winnell is 2 inches shorter than Costas Mandalore.
Which would make him 5'7".
Yeah. So if it was Adam, in my opinion, he'd have to be the one who stuck him first, being
Yeah.
that he is shorter or whatever. Because that person who grabbed Costas, Kaufman from behind, you can tell there was a little bit of a height advantage or whatever. That's interesting. Now, that also can make the argument though that could have just been Logan and that girl
Yeah.
helping Gordon.
See, there's so many different routes they could go with this. We could sit here for days just.
Yeah, man. I like it. I like it.
Because I didn't even think about Amanda being alive until you had said something. And I'm sitting there like, it could be explained.
It could be. I mean, it really could be. They bring like Matthew Lillard said in the fucking Stu in the Stu video that Craven shows. They do this shit with horror villains all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can make it make sense to where it's not like fucking super stupid or super fucking bonkers to where it's like there is no possible way that could happen.
Like John Kramer still being alive. I'm sorry, that wouldn't happen.
No, but not at all. You know what I mean? You know what I did always feel like though? I always felt like if they were going to do that, right, and he was actually still alive, the only way that could work is if the body that was on that hospital bed was a battery operated puppet that he put his voice attachment into it or whatever, because he's a master machinist. You know what I mean? And I always thought that. I said, if they would bring John Kramer fucking back, like in a sequel after he was supposed to be already dead, and reveal he never died, that is like the only way that they could do it, in my opinion, that would actually make sense, being that he is an engineer, so he would know how to do certain shit like that.
Yeah, and to make that skin real, you could have easily gotten Logan's helper, who was working at a morgue, to get some skin.
Dr. Gordon.
Or, hey, the two of them could have worked together. She got the skin, he sewed it up.
Exactly. Like, that's the only way I always thought about you could bring John Kramer back and make it make sense. It's just like the same thing with Adam when people say, oh, well, you see his body in the bathroom. No, like she dropped his body on the floor. Why reposition the body when there's no reason to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you done dropped his carcass on the floor. Now you get up and walk away. There's no reason to sit there and be like, all right, Adam, I'm going to put you back in the corner.
Exactly. There'd be no reason to.
I mean, this franchise is very, very fascinating. I hope that they follow up with the Spiral franchise. And I hope when they do, I hope they make it make sense. Whoever is helping Shank, I really hope that it makes sense. And it's good. It's a good story. And possibly we get past and present. You know what I mean? I don't know if they will go that route, but I think they can. It's an interesting dynamic that I think they put themselves in a position that way based on where they started this story from. You know what I mean? It's being that this story was initially based in 2005. So It's definitely interesting. I love this franchise, and this is why I don't want them to make the mistake of going back and bringing back John Kramer because I think that that will completely ruin the franchise. In all honesty,
Yeah,
as crazy as it sounds, people love Tobin Bell, yes, but at the same time, they don't want to see something that they've already seen.
yeah, and it kind of got watered down even in Jigsaw because you were kind of switching between the two things, and it really got confusing to be honest.
It did. Now think about this too. Think about Logan and Jigsaw, and think about Shank and Spiral. They both are very, very similar. The reason why they did what they did was out of revenge over a loved one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, who else can relate to that in the Saw franchise? Outside of John Kramer, Hoffman.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hoffman.
It's just so fascinating. Like when we really sit here and pick it apart and really put our brains to it, man. It's crazy we can fucking come up with about this franchise. In all honesty, you know what I mean? It's nuts. Like I just hope that they keep keep following after Spiral. No more prequels about John Kramer. We did that with Jigsaw. It didn't work. People didn't like it. Let's just go in this new direction and ride this wave. And either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. Just go for it.
Yeah, because some of the sequels have been bad, and with them coming out every year, story wise.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan, man. Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
man. Definitely rewatch the Saw movies, man. Like especially check out Spiral though. Like I feel like, in all honesty, when you watch Spiral again, you're gonna remember this conversation and be like, "Fuck, man! Like these guys, like they really like see some shit like that. You can mix in from the old franchise to the new. So watch all the old ones, Jordan, and then go watch Spiral, and then I think you'll really see what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Because they left a lot of hanging fruit, especially in at the they called it Saul the final chapter, but in my opinion, they left many chapters to be told. Like
yeah.
they left many chapters to be told.
And with it being called the final chapter, with the new one being Spiral, a book from Saul, you could really incorporate the whole book part with that being called the final chapter,
That's true.
and you could take a lot from that movie.
That is very true, man. Wow, man. I ain't gonna lie. I want another Saw movie, but I want another Spiral. I don't want the prequel that they're talking about and talking about doing. I want a sequel, whatever you want to call it, to Spiral, and let's see what we get from here. Because I'm really interested to see this whole manhunt. Now, what if they do another Spiral, right? And the opening scene kind of mirrors Saw 2, and Shank is willing to let himself get caught, but then instead of one accomplice, like we got revealed in 2, we reveal multiple accomplices. That's
Yes,
helpful. Oh,
yes.
that would be so nutty. I would love that. That would be great. I'd be on board with that for sure, man.
Oh, no question.
That would be nuts. Like, man, whew. Guys, like I said, I like Shank, man. Like I liked his philosophy. You know what I mean? I liked his philosophy, even though it was built on revenge. I understood where he was coming from. You can relate to that, man.
Yeah,
Like in all honesty, like straight up, he said, "You like your partner killed my dad." You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean like now I'm trying to help you save yours when he really wasn't. You know
yeah.
what
I
I
was just
mean?
saying that
Like
was kind of a dick move because when you think about it, Banks was the only one that stood up for the guy's father. You're gonna torment him, what making him watch his father die? I mean, come on, he was the reason that cop was fired.
but at the same time, his silent, like, even though he snitched on the cop, like his son, like, I feel like Shank felt like you telling me to shh. like you didn't like. I kind of felt like Shank kind of felt like in a way that was the one downfall from Zeke's character was you still showed a moment of weakness in terms of telling him to be quiet and not speak about it or whatnot. Like, I don't know. Or he could have just been saying being quiet so, his partner wouldn't kill him too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because I think he was telling him to be quiet because, one, his partner at that point didn't know that the kid was in there. So if he
Yeah.
finds out that kid's in there, that could lead to more problems.
Yeah, that's true.
And he could have been killed. That's how I took it anyway.
No, you can definitely easily make it that way. It's interesting, man, because you know what I mean. Now that you say it like that, he kind of really did. It was kind of a dick move to put put Zeke through that, being that Zeke kind of is the one who like basically made sure that his dad's killer got put to justice
and made sure the kid didn't get killed.
That too. Like, I get it if you wanted to punish Marcus Banks. I get all that.
Yeah, I get that. It's just putting Zeke through that I didn't quite get.
Because my whole thing is Zeke wasn't standing right there when his partner shot him.
Yeah.
He heard the gunshot. He was downstairs waiting. He heard the gunshot, ran upstairs, and was like, Pete! You know what I mean? And he rolls up on Pete, and Pete's like, the victim pulled a gun on me. The victim pulled a gun on you? And you can even see it in his face that he doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And stuff. So that is interesting. But as you know, when you're an revenge mind like that,
nothing's off limits.
Everybody's feelings is getting hurt. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, man. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't see what the big problem was other than the voice. At first, I'm not going to lie. I don't know why. I liked the voice at first. Then as it grew on me, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see why people don't like the voice.
Part of me, and I know I say this a lot, but part of me wants to hear Crispin Glover do that just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it.
Bro. Man, that would be so lit. Oh, man.
I mean, he can be very freaking creepy when he wants to be. Look at him in Charlie's Angels.
Look
hair
at Willard.
sniffing. Yeah, look at Alice in Wonderland because he
was
that like one that because he kind of was creeping on Alice and the Queen.
Wow. Wow, man. Oh man, that one can wonder, man. One can wonder. I honestly don't think that would ever happen because I know I just recently watched an interview with Crispin Glover that was about 10 months old, and he said that they asked him like, you still do movies, but you do your movies like underground and you direct and stuff like that. And he's like, mm-hmm. And he said, do you ever see yourself coming back, like doing anything like big screen here in America or whatever? So he's like, honestly, he's just like, I think he's like clonked out of it. That to this day, that Back to the Future shit, he's like that left a really sour taste. And the fact that those creators are still coming at him to this day in the media and stuff like that, he's like, you know what I mean? So I don't blame him, but man,
well,
that
you could
would
always
be really,
go,
really nice.
Hey, you never know. He could go uncredited. They could pay him, but still go uncredited.
I think if they threw the fucking boatload of money at him, I think he would.
Yeah, I don't think the people running Salt would screw him over like Back to the Future guys did.
Yeah,
I think they'd be fair with that. I mean, look at how they've been treating Tobin Bell. Even though he wasn't in Spiral, you've never heard Tobin Bell complain about the people that were running the Saw films.
Oh no. Well, why would he? The movie, every single movie up until obviously even till 7 was all featured around him. He has nothing to be complained about.
Yeah, but also they never like
he didn't have to do no work physically. It was all fat. Well, for the flashback scenes, but he didn't have to. He didn't have to work full time to get a paycheck.
And in the first Saw, because he did have to lie down a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Oh man, I to this day that to me that for me that is probably in terms of like a who done it thriller. You know what I mean? To me, that might be the greatest ending of all time. Like
Definitely.
that was just so fucking shocking. You just see him rise up like that, and he's
Yeah.
like, the key to that chain is over there. It's in the bathtub. And it's just like, you're just still in shock. Like, you're just like, what the fuck am I watching? How was he laying there the whole time? And then obviously when they do the flashbacks, they see him, take this, the sedative that
Yep.
calmed his nerves and put him out and shit like that. And it's just like, wow, that's ingenious. That's a master at work, man.
Yeah. And also, when you see that ending, it makes sense now how Adam was getting shot, because he overheard Gordon talking to Adam about, hey, pretend to be dead.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yep. And you wonder where the fuck that shock was coming from. And then obviously it was right there.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because it's such a cliche move. You know what I mean? Basically, what you're looking for is simply in plain sight.
Yeah. And it
Like
was
it's
a case, and it was kind of was the case of Scream 2 with Mrs. Loomis as kind of being a small part. Because really, we only got the flashback at the hospital with Kramer, with Gordon.
that's true. That is true. Man, I just go back every time I think about Gordon now. About Carrie L's character in that. I just go back to that flashback where he's like, stitching the guy's eyelid shut,
Yeah,
and you see it in his eyes, man. He's
that
like,
he's loving it.
he's excited, like, and I'm just like, man, they could go so many directions with that. I would love to see them bring Carrie Ells back. Even in Spiral, like I said, they set themselves up to where you can bring past characters into this new Spiral universe. You know what I mean? Especially if it's done correctly. They set themselves up perfectly for it. Who's to say if they, or who's to say if Gordon feels some type of way towards Shank? What if we open up Spiral, right? And Shank's in a trap?
Yeah,
Kind of like with Kieran at the end of Scream season 2, who said you could wear my mask? Well, who said you can play my games?
yeah. Or it could even be Hoffman.
Oh man. Man, I would love for that. And I'm always gonna stick to my guns that that guy is still alive. Him and Adam are still alive. I'm not buying one bit that they're dead. Not one. We both are like people can sit there and say, "Oh, well, you seen Amanda, suffocate him." Baloney. That was a fucking dream. Go
Yeah,
back and clip that. Go back and watch that scene where she's shining the flashlight on his legs and his feet. No chain on his feet. None.
yep,
Like that is a dream sequence right there. That is not real. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And then another thing is this is it all right. So when she's suffocating him, she smacks his head on the toilet seat, and then right after that, you start seeing blood come from his head and blood come from his mouth. Well, in the scene where people, in the picture that people are saying, "Oh, well, you see the plastic over his head," there would still be blood residue, given how in part 2, that wasn't that much time that passed before they went and had that second game in that same bathroom.
exactly.
It wasn't that much time. You would still see the blood on the head and inside the plastic. That would still be there. You know what I mean? And it was not there. You know what I mean? And stuff. So Hoffman and Adam, in my opinion, are definitely alive in the Saw universe. And hopefully, will we ever know, even in a Spiral universe? Probably not. Could they do it? Yeah. And I think it would be really cool if in the second Spiral you kind of mirror it like you see John Kramer and Saw 2 get captured. You see Shank get cornered by police. He's sitting at a table or something. And he's like, well, you guys really can't do nothing because if you kill me or if you take me in, these people are going to die or whatever, this and that. So now they're all forced to play a game. And then whoever this game is focused on, whatever, if it's a detective or whoever, at the end, we find out maybe Hoffman, Amanda,
Adam,
or Adam, Logan, and the girl.
Which part of me really doesn't want Logan or the girl. I don't know. I never really liked them in Jigsaw.
I didn't care for Logan neither. I just feel like if you're not going to bring Amanda back,
it's got to be him.
No, hold on, not Adam. Hoffman, Logan, and the girl. Because if you're not going to bring Adam or Amanda back, those two would make the most sense because they were in Jigsaw. And we have to, in my opinion, it would mean more if it's people that we saw be under those pig face masks with Gordon as opposed to a whole bunch, 2 new people we don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, bro. Whew, we went hard as fuck on that.
Yeah.
Shit. Good shit, man. Good shit. All right, so let's move on to some Halloween ends. We can go to 2:30, man. You know what I mean? We'll go to 2:30, touch up on some Halloween ends and stuff like that, get some thoughts and predictions on that. So I mean, I'll ask you this. What are you most hold on. I'm gonna ask you this question, but then don't answer until because I want to go grab a drink because I want to hear your answer and stuff or whatever. But what would you be most looking forward to in Halloween ends? I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick, and I want to hear your answer.
Yeah, let me think hard on that because I kind of have to combine it.
All right.
All right, there's 2 specific things here.
All right, let's get it.
One, you've set it up perfectly for Allison to kind of be like Lori was in 2018. Now she's going to be traumatized. She's going to be so obsessed with Michael that that's all she's going to think about after he killed her mother, father,
cheers to that,
her 3 friends, her boyfriend. So she's going to go through that trauma now, and we're going to kind of see that evolve. And what if Dr. I think, what was it, Mathis, or what was the new doctor?
Dr. Mathis.
What if Dr. Mathis is like her psychiatrist or something?
That's possible. That's possible. I think that this doctor does have an interesting dynamic to him because I remember hearing Killjoy Jake said that he had invited the couple in Halloween Kills that were dressed in a doctor and a nurse's outfit
to the swinger party.
To the swingers party. So I think that he's definitely going to be a interesting character to say the least. That wouldn't surprise me if he's Allison's therapist or whatever. What if he's that type of therapist that could be trying to get in her pants?
Yeah, you know I was going to say, what if it's kind of like Shades to the Cold of Chucky, where that one guy was kind of like creeping with on me.
I can see Danny McBride writing that character.
Yeah, so could I.
I could see that. So that's definitely interesting.
And the other thing is
I like that idea of him being Allison or Lori's therapist more than I like the idea of him being connected to Michael somehow.
Yeah, it just, to me, it doesn't make any logical sense, really.
We didn't get nothing to set him up.
Yeah.
We didn't get anything to set him up as connected to Michael. We didn't see him with Sartain. We didn't see anything.
We never saw him with Lubis in the flashback or anything.
Nothing. Now, I will ask you this, because this is something that has been weighing on my head for a good month and a half now. Do you think we are going to see flashback scenes from, because they said this is going to be a coming of age, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see flashback scenes of Michael in the penitentiary and Loomis? maybe interviewing him or talking to him, like when he's staring out that window and Loomis comes in. Remember that deleted scene in Halloween? What is it, 1 or 2 that they
One,
showed?
'cause
He's like, "You fooled." And he's like, "You fooled them, didn't you, Michael? You fooled them all, didn't you, Michael?" You know what I mean? And
but you
stuff
didn't
like
fool
that.
me.
Yeah, but you haven't fooled me. Yes, exactly. Like I can see them in court. I would encourage that they do that. You know what I mean? I want to see
Yes.
more fucking Loomis in this movie, man. Like, even if it's just flashbacks, if you're saying this is a coming of age and this is like, in all honesty, I would like to see like kind of all histories combined. You know what I mean? If this is supposed to be Halloween ends, why not? You know what I mean? Like, just why not? I would love that, man.
Yeah.
You got to have some. If this is Halloween ends, I feel like it would be a missed opportunity if this is supposed to be Halloween ends and the end of this story. If we don't get at least one more flashback of Loomis.
I think we're gonna have at least 2 in this movie.
Mm. What do you think it will be?
I think the one's gonna be we see something back in the penitentiary where Michael is young, and we're going to maybe see like an interview or something. Maybe it doesn't. I'd prefer it to be Loomis, but what if we get something where we see the other doctors in that interviewing him,
Mm.
and like Loomis comes in at the very end, is like saying after Michael had left, and he's kind of calling him out, like, "Why are you falling for this?"
Yeah. Because that's basically, remember, it was another deleted scene in the original where Dr. Loomis is by himself meeting before the board of directors that were going to transfer Michael out of Smith's Grove. And
Yeah,
he's trying to appeal it. And he's telling them, you do not know what you're doing. Like he needs to be in this facility. And they're like, "Doctor, he hasn't spoken in 15 years. He is not a threat." And he's like, "You just don't know what you're getting yourself into." You know what I mean? And stuff
yep.
like that. He tried to warn him and stuff. I can easily see them incorporating those old flashback scenes into this movie. And if they do, count me in, buddy. I'm all for it. I'm all for more Loomis all day.
All day.
All day. More Loomis, give it to me, man. I will say this. It's crazy because I have an idea because I've talked to you about fan films and all that stuff. And I have this idea for a fan film, right? Of basically surrounded about around Michael and Dr. Loomis, but Michael being independent and being in the penitentiary
Okay, I'm digging it
or
so far.
whatever. And obviously Dr. Loomis is overseeing him and all that stuff. And we're getting in-depth notes of what Dr. Loomis is seeing right through him, etc., etc. But instead of waiting, now mind you, instead of being in Smith's Grove, being that he was still a kid, in the original Halloween, I put him in a minimum security to start. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Minimum security to start. And then Michael, even as a child, like I'll say teenager Michael. We'll go teenager Michael, right? Catch a couple bodies in the penitentiary to where now you have to force him to move him to the maximum. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I was thinking about like doing a fan film, something like that. And I think like, especially with the right elements and the right pieces, that something like that could work. It'd be something fresh, it'd be something different. And most importantly, you wouldn't be waiting for Michael Myers to be a fully grown fucking man to commit more murders. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
In a way, we did get that a little. I'm not saying it was minimum security, but in a way, we got that in Zombies in that one scene when the nurse was sitting there talking to him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And
Like,
I appreciated that. If there was one thing from I would say if there was one thing from 2007 Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween that I did like in the penitentiary is you saw him as a kid catch a body in the penitentiary. You know what I mean? The only thing was that they still kept him in the same pen. It was still in Smith's Grove.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a cooler story arc if you start him off at a lesser security to where after Dr. Loomis's findings, he's trying to tell them you need to transfer him to a maximum security. He is pure evil. He is nothing but evil. He will kill again. And then obviously on Halloween night in the penitentiary, this little motherfucker just goes on a rampage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because he is supernatural, he has a supernatural element to him. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Even if he were to get shot, he would still live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have big plans for that type of fan film and stuff like that. Like, I probably gave away so many fucking spoilers, so I'm probably gonna have to rewrite the story again somehow. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? That to me, that's a good rough draft and a template to go on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And stuff like that.
Yeah, it
So, like,
really is.
eventually, when I get there, I think that's something shit. And if you want to be down with me, you know what I mean, writing and shit like that, we can both work on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, bro, like I'm down with that, man. Like for real, like I like that idea. Like I've always thought about that. Like, man, like really, like let's really be honest here. We see it all the time with kid killers or like kids who've committed murders. They don't right away go to the fucking maximum security. They send them to minimum security to try to see if that type of help will maybe get their, mentality different.
Yep.
And then if there's nothing they can do for them, then they send them to the maximum security.
Yeah,
You know what I
which
mean?
Rob Zombie really missed on that one in that one scene, because that would have been perfect if it wasn't Smith's Grove.
Oh man, if
Hey,
it was Smith's Grove and it was like a smaller like Glass Hill,
yeah,
you know what I mean? If that would have been so perfect, because like I said, I really appreciated that scene because I always sat there and wondered, like, you mean to tell me after all them years of being dormant, he is just he's a killing machine. You know what I mean? He's gonna kill no matter what gets in his way. You know what I mean? So
yep,
you mean to tell me he just like it's not that it didn't sit well with me because it obviously blended in with the story, the original story so well. You know what
yep.
I mean? But I just also feel like, you know what I mean? If he is the essence of pure evil, he's not waiting to kill nobody.
No, he's not. He's going to do it,
He's
and he's not going to care who's in the way. If you're
exactly,
trying to stop him, he's going to kill you as well.
exactly. Bob, I think what I want to see in this movie is obviously I definitely foolhardily I'm 100% on board with that Allison take. I think that has to happen because they did set her up so perfectly, and anything less would kind of be somewhat disappointing. And kind of like, why the fuck did you set it up like that? Like, if you weren't going to give us the payoff.
Yeah,
Um, I think another thing what I want to see in this movie is it's just proper. The most I think it's more important for me is proper execution. You know what I mean?
yep,
Especially for the ending, proper execution.
yeah,
Even
and not.
if you kill Lori off, it has to be proper execution.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Not even the ending. If you have to have Laurie's death be purposeful and meaningful. You can't do what Resurrection did and just kill her in the beginning.
But remember, guys, he's inhumanly patient. That is true. That is really, really true. Good call on that, Jordan. He is really inhumanly patient. You know what I mean? That is true. That is what makes Michael unique, especially in terms of other killers and sets him apart. Is that he will wait, and that's a good take that you. And it's a good thing you brought that up, Jordan. Because think about it now, we're getting a 4-year time jump. What has he been doing these last 4 years?
Yeah, but also if you start him off in a minimum security, who's to say he wouldn't try to see if he could escape at such a young age, which then led him to the maximum security. So then he learned
Oh yeah,
to be that really patient. He was just staring out the window, planning ahead.
yeah, that's right. Loomis did say that, Jordan. Yeah, that is true. He is inhumanly patient. You know what I mean? And I just guess I feel like at the same time, just to be different, just to kind of break that mold. You know what I mean? You got to be. You know what I mean, what as horror fans and content creators do we always complain about with directors, fan films, whatever? as nobody has fresh ideas. You know what I mean? I think it would be a fresh idea to make Michael not inhumanly patient.
That, and who's to say when he first went there, he thought he saw a chance and went to execute, and he got caught.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That could work too. I'm gonna put it this way. Let me ask you this. Do you think they're going in that direction? Do you think they're going to kind of retcon the end of Halloween Kills and we're going to see Michael get captured and taken to Glass Hill?
That's a heavily possibility. I could see that.
I have a fucking feeling they're going to retcon that end scene from Halloween Kills because it was so poorly received. You know what I mean? A lot of people did not like that ending, as you know, because they just felt like it wasn't that definitive of an ending. Especially, it's like, how did he get past all them cops
Yeah,
and all that stuff?
because even in the extended cut, it didn't explain how he got up past all those people.
No, it didn't. You know, so I have a feeling, a really good hunch, that they're going to retcon that ending scene, and we could possibly see Michael get captured and taken to Glass Hill, which is where he would have been the last 4 years, which would make sense for the term cave dweller. You know what I mean? Unless, and I have another cave dweller theory, and I said it on Maverick's channel, I think the other night too, is what if, you know what I mean, they decide to get a little funky? You know what I mean? What if this cave or whatever, being that because like I said, what Halloween resurrection words could they use? Because they haven't used one. You know what I mean? And stuff. You can use some type of underground passage underneath Michael's house. That's where he's been at. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And stuff, just patient,
or you could
inhumanly
even,
patient.
or you could even hypothetically go the 4 route and say somewhere in the house, like there was like a well or something. Say someone steps on it the right way, it had opened it up that we didn't see, and like say he went down there into like a well that led to this cave, and say it's like on the outskirts of town, and these hikers are like going into this cave to look for something, and say they come across Michael.
Hold on, Jordan's saying something. He said, bro, he teleported in the first movie. Lori was staring straight at him and he disappeared and startled her go back and look. See, are you talking about the window scene where she's looking out the window and he's staring at her through the window, and then when she looks back, he's gone. See, that's, I mean, if that's the scene you're talking about anyway, Jordan, that's, I wouldn't really call that teleporting because he could have easily just within a few seconds just walked around to the side of the house.
Yeah, because then you could make an argument when he was at the bush when Lori and Annie were walking that he magically teleported.
Yeah, like if he, my thing is, if he magically teleported, if he had the powers to magically teleport it, Lori would have never gotten the house. You see, like if he had the powers to teleport like that, she would have never gotten that house. He would have just teleported right into the front of the door.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, I'm about to look this up. You're talking about the first film. Are you talking which scene exactly are you talking about? Which, because there's multiple scenes where she's staring at him. And a couple scenes that I remember, she broke focus. The one in the classroom, the one when the phone rings in her bedroom, and then when she's looking outside the window, when she's babysitting, she turns away from that too. All right, let me get on YouTube. Okay, hold on. Fucking Wayne, I'm back. I got into a fight and I won. Good stuff, Wayne.
Good stuff, but I don't think you're as tough as Cody.
Okay, Jordan said where he is behind the sheets. Okay. Remember, she was staring at him, but then the phone rang. I'm gonna look at that scene again, but if I'm not mistaken, the phone rang, and that's when she turned away. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm sure. If I remember correctly, that's right. But I'm half awake here, okay? I'm like. Yeah, Val says she turns away in that scene. But Dino's saying Jordan's right, so I'm confused.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking it up now.
I wish it was, Wayne. I wish it was.
You need the right marketer. Like one who can.
All right. Had to mute that. All right, I'm watching it now. Okay. So that he is right about that, but this is where I'm gonna go on a limb here and say in that instance, I don't think that she was really seeing him. Like I don't. That would like it would make no sense for Michael Myers to have transporting skills or whatever, because then he would just be easily able to just pick everybody off before they would get in their doors or their house. Like he wouldn't need to chase them down, none of that.
He
You know what
wouldn't
I mean?
have to. He wouldn't be the shape. He wouldn't be stalking at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly. So I think in that instance, in that scene, I think Lori is hallucinating because you got
Yeah,
to think
because
she
she
already
just
had
saw him.
seen
Yeah, because
Michael.
she would have just saw him at the bushes, and her
Yeah, she
mind is
already
so
had seen
occupied on
Michael.
that.
She already had seen Michael before that, so now that's fucking with her head already.
Yeah,
You
because
know what I mean?
outside the classroom when she was in class, and then the bush.
Yeah. Now, when she's in her house, when she gets home, and remember, he's in the neighbor's yard looking at her, and she's like looking out the window, and then the window slams or whatever. Well, she's still looking, and then he's gone in an instant, and then her window slams down or whatever, and stuff like that. It's when she gets home from school or whatever. See, I wish I might be. See, I don't want to get copyrighted. You know what I mean? See, that's the thing. I will get copyrighted if I do share it or whatever on my screen. But when she does get home from school, she looks out the window for a brief second. Michael is looking up at her
That
through the window.
I also have to agree with Val on this. It could be bad editing. Remember, that was a very low budget back then. They might not have had
Yeah,
the world's greatest editing either.
yeah. But I'm going to. I mean, that could be the case too. But for some reason, I'm just going to go with.
But I'm going with
that was a
hallucinating.
hallucination because at that point he's already fucking with her head. Because got to think when she seen him outside the school or whatever. I mean, and behind the bushes when Annie went to go check, he wasn't there neither. So she's already thinking this shit in her mind, like, who's this fucking person who's watching me and all that shit. So now everywhere that almost she goes, she's going to see him to a degree. You know what I mean? I don't think Michael Myers has teleporting skills. It really would not make sense. It would be too easy for him to catch people. Like he wouldn't have to run after them or chase them or stalk them or none of that. I mean, but that damn was a good call, Jordan, because I forgot about that scene with the window when he just moves away in an instance. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But I don't know. Okay, Jordan. Okay, like he gains the ability after killing a certain amount of people. See, but that's okay. But then, like, if that's the case, he killed the most people in Halloween Kills. You know what I mean? Like, and he didn't transport over to the mob. Like, we didn't see any instances other than when you can obviously say maybe the ending. You know what I mean? And I just think that that was a poorly written ending, other than transportation, teleportation. Like,
Yeah, but when you think about it, that doesn't make any sense because he only killed the mechanic at that point.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
so then you're telling me that then Jordan, your flawed logic because he can only kill one person and teleport. That he wouldn't have to stalk or be the
I think
shape.
Jordan's fucking with us to a degree though, because he's like he teleported after killing the mob. But
Oh,
no, but no, definitely that's right though, Bob, because like he if that's the logic you're going with, Jordan, if like after he kills a certain amount of people, he gains a certain amount of powers. He only killed his sister and that mechanic when he started stalking Lori. So like, I don't know, man. We'll see.
nah.
Nah,
That last part of your comment, Jordan, I have to disagree
yeah, I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
because they
Yeah,
already
so I said he said also, by the way, I'm half joking. Yeah. I kind of figured that after a while and
yeah,
stuff like that.
but I do have to
That's
agree
funny
with that.
shit.
But I disagree with that bottom comment. I'm sorry because they have established how many people were killed.
Yeah. But that was a good catch though from him to point that out that, you know, because to a degree, you could kind of make that case that that was some type of teleport and shit because he did fucking in a whip of a second be out of her peripheral. I just think that that was more her hallucinating because she already done seen him. He's playing mind games with her because it's like you see me now, you don't. So in that instance, I think that was more of a hallucination on Lori's end than anything. Oh, he says I'm serious. I've been the thought that he could teleport sometimes. Hey man, I mean he is a supernatural force. I just feel like you know what I mean. Like I just feel like if he does have some teleporting skills, like it's maybe it's not as obvious to me, but if so, then it defeats the purpose of him being, you know, stalking and just walking like just like in Halloween 2018 when he's just scouring the streets of Haddonfield. Why would he just scour and walk if he can teleport? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's just where I'm at with it. But that's not a bad assumption because he is supposed to be a supernatural force. I mean, that's not a bad assumption to have at all.
well, obviously he killed as a kid. I mean, he killed his sister at the age of 6.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
like,
so there's no guessing on that one.
yeah, he started early. Started real early. All right, so I'd say let's talk one more thing about it, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. Um, okay. Outside of Allison and Lori, what character do you think has the most opportunity to survive to surprise people in this movie and shine? I know I have one, and it might surprise you. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna let you go first.
Hmm. I know this is going to sound out, but I got to say Hawkins. Something about Hawkins, I think, is going to play a crucial part with just because of the opening to Kills with that flashback. Something tells me he's going to play a bigger part than most people want to realize. People are going to be like, oh, he'll sacrifice himself for Allison. No, I think he's going to somehow play a crucial role in helping Lori hunt him down if he's gone missing.
I agree with that. I think Hawkins, in all honesty, is going to kind of be like the new Loomis. I don't think people are talking about that enough in terms of really wanting to kill Michael.
Yeah,
Really
because
wanting to end
now
him.
he's seen him twice in
Yes.
action.
Yes. And I think that scene with him stopping Loomis is so crucial because I think now Hawkins is going to kind of be that mantle to where Dr. Loomis was. He'll stop at nothing until Michael is dead. You know what
Yes.
I mean? So I like that with Hawkins. For me, Sheriff Barker, Baker, whatever the fuck his last
Yeah,
name
yeah,
is.
he's another one that could play a.
I'm pleasantly surprised that they decided to bring that character back. But at the same time, I think that you're going to see a massive change in character. I feel like if he's the same guy, that would be such a missed opportunity because in Halloween Kills, you saw the man have some type of humanity when he was in that hallway staircase, just recollecting, just
Yeah,
staring away.
and it looked
You,
like he was tearing up too.
you seen that he knew that he messed up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? By
but
not taking this seriously.
but also a lot of people don't talk about this. Kills was more about the people that weren't involved with the original. A lot of people were thinking like Tommy, Lori, and all that were crazy because we see that in 2018 where even Karen's thinking her own mother is crazy. So a lot of the town folk were thinking she was crazy. And with all the other sequels not mattering, we at this point we only had Judith die in the beginning of Halloween, where we see the whole 6-year-old, and then what happened to Lori. So the town of Haddonfield had nothing to really fear, so other than the
Right.
survivors. So this was about them having a reason to fear Michael.
Yeah, and a reason to fight back as well.
And the
I
sheriff,
love that aspect of this movie. That and you touched on that before.
and
Bob
it,
on Raven's
and it
channel
annoys me
and
that
stuff.
Fate wants to say it was so bad, but he's not looking at the small details that make sense. It's like everyone forgets that really only Lori, Tommy, Hawkins, even though we didn't really see Hawkins in the original, these guys dealt with that. They know what it's about. These other ones that are coming up don't know anything about him. And the sheriff, who's to say he was originally from Haddonfield? We don't know where he was from.
It's a fact.
So he might not have even known who the heck Michael Myers was.
That's right.
So why would he be taking Michael seriously when he has no idea what he did?
Which would explain why he responded to Hawkins the way he did. Michael Myers loose on Halloween night with a bunch of nutcases. We're gonna have a fucking circus on our hands. What are we gonna do? Cancel Halloween?
Exactly. And that's what made me think he didn't know who Michael Myers was.
That's a good point. That's possibly very, very true. You know what I mean? Because he just had this reckless regard to where it's like, I don't care what you're telling me, I'm not buying what you're selling. And until Halloween Kills, when everything went fucking, awry with, the other patient jumping off and people screaming throughout the hospital, evil dies tonight, he lost all control. I think in this movie, we're going to see an evolution of this character when shit starts to get awry again. This time,
Yep.
he's going to be ready. You know what I mean? And this time, he's going to be suited and booted to make a difference. Even if he dies, he's going to die. He's going to die in good vein. I feel like I have high hopes for this character. If this motherfucker comes back, the same old sheriff, I'm going to be so fucking pissed because the reason why I would be pissed about that because I'm sorry. He's lucky to still have his job.
Not just that, he was showing remorse when he
Yes.
was in that staircase because he
Yes.
realized he really did mess up. He should have
Yes.
taken Hawkins and listened to what Hawkins was saying.
Yes. And
But that goes with Karen too when you think about it. 'Cause Karen was swearing in the beginning, oh, she's just
Yeah.
nuts.
Yes, and that piece of character development, just that little nugget in the staircase, when I saw that, I said, if that character's back in Halloween Ends, he's gonna play a bigger role. And this time, when shit starts to get crazy, he's gonna try his best, hopefully, to stop it. You know what I mean? So we'll see, man. Like, it's gonna be very, very interesting. We are 4 months away from that.
Yep.
And a potential 1 to 2 weeks away from the trailer.
Yeah, we might even get a teaser at the end of this week, even.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean. Well, remember last year's, and maybe they're being a little bit more nip tuck with it. Remember, somebody leaked the fucking trailer, which is why they had to release it early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, not trying to encourage anybody, but I mean,
If anybody's in here,
I'm
take with that what you will.
like shit. We're ready to see this trailer now. I mean, I will say this, and I hope these movies stop doing this shit. Stop putting the majority of your fucking movie in the trailer.
Yep.
I remember the days, man, when the trailer they would just be so simple and wouldn't show much of anything.
Exactly.
And I don't understand where the fuck in this day and age where we got out of that. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I find it way more better to go see a movie that I want to go see a movie at the theater. I don't want to see the movie more than half the movie in a 2-minute clip.
Yeah.
Like so I do hope that when they do drop the trailer, it's not going to be heavy with content as we're accustomed to seeing, but we'll see. You know, we will see for sure. And we got 6 people still hanging out here in the chat with us at damn near 2:40 in the morning. Man, you guys are troopers for real. Thank you guys for all your love and support and hanging out with us, you know.
Hey, I might take the same route, Val, personally. Just going completely blind.
Dina says, Val, I'm telling you, I feel it. If Sam went nuts on Richie. Oh, yeah, I absolutely. I think Allison, in all honesty, if there's one thing that I did say that I would like them to pinch, just a little pinch, not over excessive with it, but just a little pinch. I would like to see Allison not only like 2018 Laurie, but Rob Zombie's Halloween Laurie, just a little bit. You know what I mean? Just a little smidgen. I don't want to just see some trauma out of her. I want to see some anger. I want to see some dog in her. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I personally, out of Scout Taylor Compton, who played Laurie in, Rob Zombie's, movies. And that second one, I really like that portrayal of that traumatized, I'm going batshit crazy out of my mind because it was so fucking believable.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people rag on, Laurie never had to take drugs after that. It's a different version of the movie, and there are people who have to do that after severe trauma.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. What?
I mean, there are people that literally rag on that, saying, Laurie was never a drug addict. Well, I'm not approving of it. I'm like, do you not know how real-life trauma people work?
Yeah, and in all honesty, this is the crazy thing. A lot of, and you know what's crazy? A lot of the stuff that people that go through trauma, a lot of the medicine that doctors give them aren't the fucking right medicine. They make them even sicker.
Which shows really in Laurie, if you pay attention to that movie.
Yeah.
It seemed like that medicine was not helping her. It made her even more angry and psychotic.
Yeah. And that's the thing about these medicines that these doctors give you. They tell you that it should help, but some of them don't help the way it should.
Yeah, talking about that, part of me when I first saw Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, part of me thought the whole Michael part was a dream-esque thing, and she's seeing this from taking all these pills, and she's actually the one doing the killings. Because when you end up at the very end with that white horse thing, at the very end where she's in that
yeah.
Part of me always felt like that's what he was symbolizing, even though it was a complete and utter crap show. Part of me wonders if that's what he was trying to symbolize.
That's not impossible to think. You're probably right, in all honesty. You know what I mean? Because, let's really be honest here. The way they set that up at the end where she's like in the mental ward and it's all white and she just smiles like that, like that's not impossible to think that it kind of reminds you of Halloween 4, how they try to flip Jamie Lloyd.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And shit like that.
except not as blatantly obvious
Yeah,
as
not
Jamie.
as blatantly obvious. Yes, not as blatantly obvious. But that's funny you said that, because I always wondered that if Rob was going to do a third Halloween, which thank God he didn't, but I
No,
always wondered that if he did, was that the direction that he was going to take, is with her being like, I guess, the new Michael. I mean,
cou-
just because of that ending scene, how it ended, and that with her smirking like that, which I thought was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
You know,
but anything with Scott Taylor Compton just looking
yes, she's
like
she's
that
fucking
is
she's fucking fantastic. You know what I mean? She's really, really good, and I don't think she gets enough big screen parts like she should,
no,
in my opinion.
definitely she should be in a lot more films than she is. I mean, she even was in some movies I saw when I was growing up as a kid. So, I mean, I
Oh
saw her
yeah,
before Halloween.
I think I've seen her in a few. I think I've seen her in a few like shows or something, like just like make like cameos or something like that.
Yeah, she
Before
was in
that,
shows too.
yeah, and then I seen her in Halloween, and I'm like, I even liked the job she did in Halloween, the remake, like the one. You know what I mean? I thought she did okay. You know what I mean, for playing Laurie Strode, especially in the second one with the trauma and the attitude, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like, I thought she did a good job. It's just the writing and the whole, vision of Rob Zombie from Michael Myers was a complete and utter shit show.
Yeah, but then again, I wonder how much the Weinsteins really did piss off Zombie because it felt really like he really wanted to say pretty much "f you."
No, they pissed off everybody. And I remember he said this when he came back to Halloween 2 or whatever. He said, I wasn't going to do another one. He said, I wasn't going to do another one. But then the studio talked about going through with it anyway. And I said, you know what? Fuck that. I'm coming back because you're not, I don't want them fucking with my shit
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, and the worst part is the best, like, oh, that was like the best opening scene until we find out it was a dream. I
Right?
enjoyed that opening up until she woke up.
Oh, bro, that opening scene was fucking mayhem. That was a really good opening scene, and then we find out she's dreaming, and then yeah, like that was a good opening scene.
But that also leads into where I was coming from. Maybe that dream sequence also set that up in my head. That maybe she's just envisioning this.
That's possible. You know what I mean? Like they definitely can go some directions, especially with Dr. Mathis. I think he's a gem. You know what I mean? I honestly can see him easily being Lori or Allison's therapist.
I see more Allison. You could
I'd
go.
see
He's
more
trying to get,
Allison too, because
and
she's
he's
going to
trying
be
to get,
going through more trauma.
and he's
Um,
going to want to try to get in them pants.
oh yeah, probably, but also because Lori looks pretty fucking crispy clean in these photos. Like she looks
Yeah,
like she's cleaned it up. She looks a little normal.
yeah. What if she thinks she really did end him off? Like, say that opening really is like bulldozing the house or something, and he was like there. And she thinks he is gone, and that cleared her mind. But Allison is just so obsessed. It's like a complete 180.
Bro, I have this thing for an ending scene. Like I know that there's this whole bulldozering of the house, and I'm not against that. You know what I mean? I feel like this. If you're gonna go with the premise of killing Michael Myers, what cooler way would you be to fucking basically maybe somehow tie him down in the fucking house to where he's like he's not getting up, or something to where you throw a bunch of objects on him, whatever, and you run out of the house and you fucking claymore the entire fucking house, bulldoze it, blow it the fuck up, whatever, and he's in there. Because as we know and as we've talked about, you know what I mean? That house is so fucking sacred to him. You know what I mean? More so than the mask, man, in my opinion. Like that house. And I guess I want to see them fuck with his house to see how he's gonna be affected and how he's gonna feel. So I guess I can see why if the beginning of the movie is Laurie's bulldozing his house, because then that would give him a reason when he comes back to, like you said before, be even more angry and violent in his kills. Even if we don't get a lot of kills, it sets up the opportunity for him to be the most ruthless fucking Chivato we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can't wait, man. I can't. I really I'm just looking for a great execution. But man, what I'm not gonna lie, my sneak ending is what if they both die? And this is like really Halloween ends. Like for Michael Myers. Like I get it. A lot of people, with Mustafa, you know what I mean? But if Malik is being lenient, if he's been lenient, who's to say he will just say, you know what? I mean, let's really be honest. This is the fucking movies. If he wants to make another Michael Myers movie and maybe retcon a few of the old shit,
5 and 6.
do that.
5 and 6.
Yes, like if he just maybe wants to reboot the character of Michael Myers and do like a remake of 19, but it won't be 1978, maybe in modern times. There's ways you can still get Michael Myers back on the big screen later on down the road, you know what I mean, without having to incorporate the Laurie Strode character. You know what I mean? Or any other character that ties into this.
Yeah, and even if you follow up before, Laurie's dead.
Yes.
She died off screen, technically.
Yes.
So we wouldn't have to worry about Jamie Lee having to come back.
Yes. Like, I feel like, man, I feel like a lot of people would maybe what if that's what Jamie's talking about? Everybody's going to be mad because we're both going to die.
That's possible. Or what if Allison, what if Allison, the whole town dies?
Yeah, I think that just did it for me. I mean, you see the look on Allison dies. That's going to piss me off. Because, I mean, why would you build her up all this way just for her to get killed? Like, why? Like, I wouldn't understand it. You built her up to be the next Lord.
Hey, I'm just thinking of ways because it would piss me off.
No, you're right. No, that's definitely a good idea, and that's definitely something that obviously I'd be pissed off, and I think it would piss a lot of people off because you built all this time in these two movies structuring this girl, molding this girl to be the next Laurie Strode, and then you're just gonna kill her. I'd feel like that would be the fucking Rachel Carruthers treatment, in my opinion. Like, yeah. And I hope they would not do that. If they kill Allison, ooh, that's gonna leave a sour taste in my mouth. Jeremy, what's up, man? Nice to see you popping in, buddy.
Hey, welcome, Jeremy.
Marcus, as always, you keep it interesting. Another great video. I appreciate it, man. Must go. My battery is very low, but I've learned a lot more about Michael Myers after this watch for sure. Hey, man, thank you for stopping in, buddy. Always appreciate your support, man. And you have a nice night, Jeremy. If I don't catch you we are going to be heading out here, you know what I mean, in the next 2 minutes or whatever. So you have a great night, Jeremy.
Yeah, I find it funny. We say we're going to go to 2:30. It's almost 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock. See, that's what happens when, you start, putting your great minds together and you start thinking of shit. You know what I mean? Like ways that how this movie could turn out, you know what I mean? And stuff. So, hey, it's all good content, brother. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But, all right, gang, we are going to wrap it up right now and all. It's been a long day. Your boys have been streaming for basically almost 6.5, 7 hours today. We put in a whole work shift basically. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and we even had the technical 1 hour break.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we still had a technical 1 hour break. So, well, actually an hour and a half because we did wait 20, 25 minutes to go.
Yeah, because we were talking backstage.
Yeah. and stuff like that. But as you guys know, like it's been a long day putting out a lot of this content, you know what I mean? But hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out. We still got 5 people in the chat,
Yeah,
man. This
yeah,
is just it's crazy. 3
yeah.
o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean?
Jordan,
And we still got people in
Jordan,
the chat. That's
yeah, yeah,
love.
yeah. Hang on,
I
Jordan.
appreciate all you guys' support for
Yeah,
us,
hang on,
honestly.
hang on. I gotta tell Jordan something. As long as it's not July 5th.
Wait, what's up?
Oh, he's saying we should do one of these on Saturdays. And I'm just like, as long as it's not July 5th, because that's Great American Bash. I ain't pulling a double on an NXT pay-per-view.
We can do that, man. I don't have anything scheduled for this upcoming Saturday, so if you have something in mind, Jordan, that you a topic, a movie you want to talk about, or if it's Saul, Halloween, whatever, just shoot me a message on Instagram, bro, and we'll put it together.
Yeah.
All right, gang. We're out of here for tonight. We appreciate all your love and support. Thank you for hanging out with us and talking to us here, staying live in the chat. It's your support that keeps us going, in all honesty. But it is time to, call tonight, get some rest so, your boys can be back at it tomorrow. Again, guys, greatly appreciate you. Once again, this is I Shot 'Em 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host, Marcus. As you know, this is Buddy Bob, hunting for entertainment. We will be catching you guys later. And always remember, guys. I shot him 6 times.